Good morning. Today on GoErie Live, we're with the co-owners of Flagship City Press, a new stationery company that highlights some of Erie's best quirks. Stay with us.
Thanks for joining this week's GoErie Live discussion. Today, Erie Times News reporter Madeleine O'Neill will be talking with Corinne Kraus and Dena Rupp, co-owners of Flagship City Press. I am Christopher Millett, and I'll be moderating your GoErie Live comments. Thanks to Gannon University for sponsoring these live discussions every week. Enjoy the conversation.
Thank you both for coming in. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks. So Flagship City Press was featured in Friday's newspaper.
Yes,
and
it was.
So talk to me a little bit about, you're the co-owners of that business. Talk to me about why you got into it, why you thought greeting cards would be a good place to start.
Go ahead, Dena.
Well, working in the printing business, being graphic designers, both of us, stationery is a big part of our lives. And I am a stationery freak, fanatic. I love cards. Sure. I love the buttons. I love pens. I love all that stuff. So we actually visited a couple of stationery places, like in Pittsburgh and in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And, that stuff's big around there. It's really blown up. And we're like, why isn't Erie having some of this stuff? Mm-hmm. So we just decided, let's do something different.
And it fit with, our talents already and where we currently work. So it would just kind of fit together and, through trial and error. And we came up with the designs and, put it out there, and we just got good feedback. So we just gave it a go.
Yeah.
Sure. So tell me about how your background sort of prepared you for this. You mentioned that, Corinne.
Yeah. So we're both Edinburgh University grads. So we both went to Edinburgh.
Go Borough.
Graduated with, graphic design degree, and just got... I immediately went into the printing business, so with that, obviously, it was a great background for starting this venture. So, so that's where I started. Dena worked at Kim Copy too, on and off, and we're both there currently, and that's, what platformed this to take off.
And so, Corinne, you've been in Erie for 15 years, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, I'm from Sheffield, but since I graduated from Edinburgh, I've been living in Erie, so it's been about 15 years, and I've been at Kim Copy ever since. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And Dena, you grew up here.
Yes.
So how did your time in Erie prepare you for this venture that focuses so much on the weird little eccentricities that people notice about Erie?
I mean, for me, Erie has always had its unique little gems around. But I think for me personally, it wasn't until I left Erie and then came back where I kind of realized, Erie's got it going on. And I just kind of rediscovered my hometown a little bit. And then we kind of sat down and just started, brainstorming, and we're like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course, like Sarah's ice cream cones, like those are so popular. Mm-hmm. And, all these little things on our cards that we just kind of brought to life. I mean, seagulls, anything beach related. There's just so much, really.
Yeah. And having a family and stuff, it's taking advantage of these things around Erie that, are just great to do with families. So it's highlighting those things that people that maybe move away, that remember, like the turtles. I mean, every time you drive around Presque Isle, everybody looks for the turtles on the logs. So it's those little things that people look for and just know about Erie.
Sure. And the turtles, for example, there's something that, I wouldn't have thought of, but every time you drive through Presque Isle, you see them, you notice them. So how did you guys go through the process of brainstorming these? Because they seem like almost like little tiny, almost like they would pass notice otherwise.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, it's the little things where, we sat down and we're like, why do we love Erie? Mm-hmm. So, I came up with some ideas. She came up with some ideas. We kind of asked some other people, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah, a lot of critiquing.
Yeah, ask them
everybody else.
Right. What do you think about Erie? What are things that pop in your mind? So really, it was a few people too that kind of gave us their opinions and their ideas, and so it's kind of really blossomed from that. And we're still getting ideas.
Yeah, tell me what are some of the favorite ideas you've heard from people when you're selling cards?
Let me tell you, ice cream is big around here.
Yes. Everyone loves ice cream. In the works. Ice cream card is in the works.
Yeah, Blue Moon ice cream was something that recently has been brought up. The Keep Erie Weird slogan was definitely something that we didn't do right away, that people were like, hey, that's a big part of Erie. So that kind of actually went on a card, and you said it's like one of our popular sellers.
It is, yeah.
So, it's just like, just all these different things. Oh, you need to have this and you need to have that, and we're like,
so we write it down and because eventually we're gonna expand into other cards and have seasonal things. So right now we have about 24 cards, but we're gonna hopefully change them. Put out new catalogs every couple of months, do like volumes and stuff like that. So they're gonna be interchanged, but probably keep the best sellers in there, the ones that people really like. But
sure, yeah. And you brought some cards in with you today. Can you take us through some of them and show us some of them and explain what's going on?
Sure. So this one, Flagship City highlights a bunch of iconic Erie destinations: Bicentennial Tower, the sunsets, Commodore Perry, the Roasted Peanut Shop downtown. So it's, a lot of our cards highlight things like that, where it's things people are going to notice. Somebody, maybe loves wine that moved away, so they're going to send this card to them. So it's just highlighting those things that people will know instantly.
And just to let y'all know, wine cards, they're in the making.
Yes.
Wine cards sound like they're going to be popular, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Wine's a big deal here, right?
Yes. So this is a very popular one as well. It's taking the word Erie and using other smaller words that are about Erie: 814 sunsets, Greek fries, 8 Great Tuesdays to make it up. So, and then just the landscape of Erie as well. So that's a top seller too. People like that one. So
that one's great to send to people who are from out of town. Just to help them remember these little things about Erie, these little quirks, if you will. So for sure,
so that's a couple.
Here are the turtles. Basking,
turtles.
the famous turtles basking on a log. Seriously, every time you go down to Presque Isle and walk past the pond or any kind of water area, you see you're trying to count how many turtles are on the log. So this is one of my personal favorites. Hey, girlfriend. We like puns. Erie loves puns.
Yes,
let's
that's
be real.
clear.
Yeah. So that one's a lot of fun, just a seagull hanging out on a log. Send it to one of your good friends. Obviously, don't give up the ship.
Sure.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Popular slogan.
Yeah.
And that's on your shirt too today, right?
Yeah, this is Erie Apparel. What's up? We try to rock out local Erie stuff while we're selling and whatnot. So trying to bring the Erie love together. This one, I have to say, I have to give a shout out to Mr. Gary Freilich for this one. He's my guidance counselor from Mercyhurst Prep. He came to one of our fleas last year and talking about kayaks. What about the kayaks?
Yes.
So Corinne kind of came up with something similar as "Don't give up the ship."
Yes.
And let me tell you what, we did a lot of license plates last year and sold.
Koozies. I think we did them on koozies.
Wow.
Don't give up the kayak.
A lot of kayakers around here.
Yeah, people like it. Okay.
And then we have a set of iconic places like the Renaissance Center. These are kind of dark, but the Renaissance Center building. We have one for the Boston store, the Union Station Brewery, and I believe the Warner Theater. Yeah. So we're trying
not
to
all just fun, punny stuff, but
Right.
also some serious, the cards even businesses could use.
Sure. And what are some of the ways that you foresee these being used? I think you mentioned putting them in gift baskets and things like that.
Yeah. So right now, definitely wholesaling them to local gift shops around town. Press Bookstore obviously was mentioned in the article. They're selling them. Glass Growers, Whale's Tail. So places like that right now are where we're selling them. We're working on the website, getting that up and going. So once we get that going, we'll be able to offer them online.
Coming soon.
Yeah, so we just started the business in January. So, it's definitely been a learning curve. It's been, you learn a lot when you try and start a business. But, so we're kind of taking it step by step. So now we're getting them in the stores. The next step is getting the website up so people can go online and buy them online.
Okay, got it. What are some other ways that you see your business expanding in the future? You've mentioned some other products besides greeting cards.
Yes, so at the Flagship Flea we did last year, we offered license plates, which she mentioned. We do koozies. We're also taking these and selling them in larger prints because people are wanting to frame them.
Yes.
So we're doing them in prints. And let's see what else. Buttons, magnets.
Yep.
So
Ornaments.
kind of souvenir type items.
mugs. Did you say mugs?
Mugs. Working on mugs.
So those are coming in the future then?
Yes, we do have a small selection right now, but we're kind of working on new designs, getting some newer products as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
How does that design process work as someone who's just not familiar with how graphic design happens?
Well,
A lot of late hours at the computer.
A lot of late hours.
Yeah.
I really love iPads. iPad Pro. I bought one a couple years ago. I have the Apple Pen. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
You can create your art and then transfer it to one of the art programs we use, like Illustrator, Photoshop, and it literally makes life a little bit easier. And then we go on the computer, add our type, or we create our own type, hand type. It is a lot of tweaking, I don't know, talking over with people, seeing what they think, because just because we like something doesn't necessarily mean...
we started with a huge collection of cards
Yes.
when we first started this, so we've narrowed it down to what we call our best sellers, or ones that we know are going to sell. So now we're down to what we have, 24 cards.
Yeah.
So...
And where are some of the locations that people will be able to find you this summer? You're doing other events, right?
We are. So I mentioned the Flagship Flea, which we did last year, which is now the Hill District Flea. The next one is June 30th.
Yes.
So it's every Sunday, not every Sunday. It's
Last Sunday. Is it the last Sunday?
It's one Sunday every month, but that's up on West 26th Street.
Yep, 26th and Peach.
Mm-hmm. So we'll be there. We're doing Celebrate Erie, Discover Presque Isle. We did Celebrate Erie last year, and it was good. We haven't done Discover Presque Isle yet, so people say that's a really good event, so we're hoping we'll do well there. Just hope for good weather.
One question. The whole Love Erie culture is kind of growing. Younger people are sort of owning it, and you're part of that. Can you speak about how this is changing with some of your fellow local businesses and what you're doing and how you're becoming proponents for the region?
Great question.
Yeah, it is a really great question. Erie, everyone always says Erie is a little bit behind on the times. But, it is interesting because, we're right in the middle of Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and these are cities that are larger. They're doing a lot of really cool, unique things. And I don't see why Erie can't have some of that stuff. And I feel like this is kind of like a vibe coming from that, where we are kind of picking up on things that have been around forever. I mean, a lot of the old school Erie people that are hardcore, these are things that have been around, but we're kind of just adding a little bit more of a fresh, youthful pop to it. Kind of like an upgrade, if you will.
And since the article has aired, people are really loving that we're local designers. They're printed locally, and we're selling them locally. So when we're meeting with these storefronts, that's really what they're loving, is that everything is local, from the design to the printing. And I think there's this swing where people are looking for that. They want locally, keep local. So that's what we're noticing. And then from doing the fleas and everything, we've kind of met this group of people where, they're other entrepreneurs. So, and we're noticing people really want to support you. They're just supporting us, and we're trying to support them, and it's just really been a really great feedback from all of these other local.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's also a shift going on, this person obviously is noticing. There's a lot of younger people that are stepping up to the plate. I mean, things evolve all around us, so you kind of have to evolve with it. Whether people really like it or not, change happens. And I think we're trying to make a positive change here. And I think there's a lot of great ideas coming into Erie, and I know we personally both want to be a part of that. Yeah. Whether it's with cards or whether it's going to these events or these places and just talking about it and spreading the love. And if we can do that with our cards or whatever, that's awesome.
That's why, I think we're doing this at the right time, because there is that shift going on right now. So we're kind of not jumping on the bandwagon, but we're just trying to support Erie as well. And this is just a great way to do it.
Sure, and I think you mentioned that it's sort of catching us up to some of those places where other cities are, like you mentioned, the Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, where they have stationery stores that focus on local quirks. So you're bringing that to
when I lived in Pittsburgh, I lived in Lawrenceville, which was a very hip neighborhood at the time I was there that was growing, and the support that everyone in that area, in Pittsburgh in general, I don't want to keep comparing us to Pittsburgh. Obviously, Erie, we're our own thing, but just that support in the neighborhoods. And, when one company was going to do something, a bunch of other companies were like, hey, let's get on board with this and work together. And that's kind of the vibe I feel like Erie can totally benefit from.
So, speaking of bringing things to Erie, Dena, I want to move on to the Cat Cafe, which I'm personally very excited about. So, Dena, you want to bring Erie's first Cat Cafe to downtown. Tell me about it.
I most certainly do. Let me tell you, after that article hit the paper, I saw on your Facebook page 521 shares. I think
people liked it.
I think people are ready for some cats in a cafe setting. It's something that I've worked in cafes a big chunk of my working career, and so I love the vibe. I love the atmospheres of cafe and what they bring. Even the cafes locally right now, they all are unique and have something to offer, and I love it. As much as the bar scene's fun, sometimes I just want to go somewhere and chill, whether by myself or with someone else, and have a conversation. I think the atmosphere is everything for me anyway. So the cats, I grew up with cats. I love animals in general. If I could do an elephant sanctuary in Erie, I would. I love them all, but I definitely think that Erie is ready for something unique. And I mean, it really isn't too unique. We have all these awesome shelters out there. They've been kind of, everyone does their own part into bringing awareness of adopt, don't shop kind of situation. And I just kind of want to bring a little bit of a twist on that and, just have a little bit more of an intimate experience with the cats as well. So
it's not that odd because, like you said,
not.
Pittsburgh has
all of our surrounding neighbors.
All over, yeah.
And they're coming.
Yeah.
They just keep coming. So it's definitely nothing that really is too odd to hear about. But there are a lot of people out there that don't know really what it is. You can't bring a cat off the street, just to let y'all know.
And don't bring your cat from home.
Don't bring your cat from home, even if it's really cool and it loves car rides, which that's really special and that's awesome because I know a cat personally that likes that. So, but yeah, my Facebook, my Instagram, my website's in the works thanks to Beehive at Gannon University Small Business Center. They're helping me out. So stay tuned.
And for someone who's not familiar with how it works, so cats are in a separate area, right? You're not drinking coffee and there's a cat walking by, right?
You can't make food, coffee with cats or any animals in the same room. Here in the United States, it's a little bit, iffy, and the health board will be very strict with that. And that's totally fine. But so usually, you go into the cafe portion and then there's a total separate entrance area for the cat lounge. Mm-hmm. But you can choose, if you'd like, once you order your coffee and your snack from the cafe, to bring it in with you to visit with the cats. That's your choice. So
you have to make an appointment.
And making an appointment to see the cats is going to be very beneficial because we don't want to overwhelm the cats. I don't need 50 people coming in when I only have 8 cats. The cats, this is a stress-free environment for both humans and cats alike. So we want it to be as calm and cool and collective as possible and, a great experience so people have more one-on-one time with the cats. And if you want to adopt one, if you feel a vibe with one of the cats, you can do that.
That's awesome. So, and that would be, you'd be partnering with Because You Care.
Yeah.
And the cats would actually have a home in that separate area off the cafe. They would live there, so it would also allow more cats to be rescued. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, That's the plan. I'm kind of like a foster home for these cats for a little bit. And then, Because You Care will then have this opportunity to adopt more cats and get cats off the street and bring more in and take care of it. And that's what I love to hear. I think that's great.
So this is in early planning stages. Tell me a little bit briefly about your fundraising efforts and what's going on with that.
So we're doing a kickoff fundraising event next week. I have a committee called the EKC, which is the Erie Kitty Committee. If you're interested, please contact me directly. DenaLynnRupp@gmail.com. But yeah, basically it's a bunch of people who kind of have been with me from the start of this project, and we're going to start a GoFundMe fundraiser. I do need help with startup finances. I'm looking to meet a goal of $10,000 just so I can get a business loan out. It's going to be pretty expensive to open up a cat cafe, especially what I'm envisioning to make sure that, the cats have a good, safe space, and then the cafe portion meets the needs of, what we need to do. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I'm going to utilize the GoFundMe platform, and we're going to just start, getting the information out there a little bit quicker next week, and social media will be blowing up, hopefully, and anything you guys can support. I'm looking for the community to be a part of this. I want them to be a part of it and watch me step by step kind of get this going.
Sure. And do you have a timeline and a location in mind at this point?
I really would love somewhere downtown Erie, maybe more in the midsection of downtown. I really feel like downtown is doing some great things, and I want to be a part of that. And I really feel like there could be some wonderful opportunities to do events and to work with the other neighboring businesses. I'm thinking right now 2020 spring summer. That's what I'm shooting for.
Okay.
Not anytime soon.
Okay, so coming in the future, keep your eyes out for updates from Dena on the Cat Cafe.
Yes.
And you guys are both contributing so much with these cards and with your efforts to of pull Erie into, the present with other cities.
It's been a great hit, and we appreciate all the support from everybody, especially the Times. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
it's been really nice talking with you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who joined in and participated in this week's GoErie live discussion. The video will be available for replay on the GoErie Facebook page and on the GoErie homepage. Thanks again to Gannon University for sponsoring this discussion, and to Corinne and Dena for joining us today. You can find upcoming topics and guests on the GoErie Facebook page each week. Thanks for listening.